Going into the CCIW tournament, not many expected number 3 seed North Central to bring home the trophy. But the Cardinals did exactly that, pounding out 23 runs in 3 games, and now they're headed to the NCAA tournament. The Cardinal Report's the one place where you can get the full details, and it starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Simmons. This week we're joined by the Cardinal softball team and head coach Jim Kulawiak. Coach, we appreciate you coming on set.
Thank you very much for having me.
So your team headed back to the NCAA tournament, the 3rd time in the last 4 years after taking the conference tournament. You guys have plenty of experience heading up there with a lot of upperclassmen. I imagine that has you feeling pretty good going into it.
Well, many of the players that have been returners for the last few years, it certainly helps that they've been in that environment before. But we do have some new people that have been major contributors as well. So this is the first time around for them, but hopefully the conference tournament gave them a little insight to what it's about.
And the weather had quite a big effect on your guys' schedule this season. You look at how you had to finish up the conference, 3 doubleheaders in 3 days, but you finished winning the last 4 of those. You win 3 down in Decatur. You guys are on a pretty good roll. What's kind of been the key to being able to stack a lot of those wins?
I think it's very similar to what you do prior to going on the spring trip. You play a number of games in a short period of time. And the key is if you can start playing fairly well, it's kind of snowballs. And right now it's doing that for us, so I hope it will continue.
And we go back to Decatur for the CCIW tournament. Your first round game against Carthage, the offense really taking care of business. Lauren Schramm, 2 homers, a lot of things working well for you guys.
I was very pleased the way the team came out and hit the ball because the previous weekend we had a difficult time with Leeser, their pitcher. And this time around, our players really got to her pretty well.
After you guys dispatched Wheaton over 2 days due to weather again, you see Carthage again, and talking to you before the game, you weren't really sure who you were going to put in the circle considering you guys had just saw him the day before. You go with Lasta Manja, and it really worked out pretty well for you guys.
It did. You know, she was really on a pretty good roll at that time, and we just felt, hey, you know what, let's give it a shot and see what happens, and things worked out.
Worked out quite well. Everybody was amped up, hoping to bring home a trophy, and the Cardinals did just that. Freshman Vlasta Manja has allowed 2 earned runs over 13 innings in the first 2 games. In the first, she K's Alicia Schrader with the off-speed approach. Top 2 now, Manja still dealing. Jen Precht, the whiff. Manja retired the first 9 Lady Reds she faced. Bottom 2, the Cards trying to get their offense going. Laura Whitfield's line drive finds the gap for a single. 2 batters later, Alyssa Ravelinski drops one behind second base to put 2 on, 1 out. Manja's up next trying to help her own cause. Leeser's toss to third, can't get the job done. Whitfield comes home, 1-zip Cards. Mary Karen's up next with 2 on. The fake and slash works to perfection. Karen finds plenty of green behind the defense. Both runs score. North Central finds themselves up 3-0 on the scoreboard. Lady Reds respond in the 4th. Elise Mikolash, she's got her bags packed. That one's out of here. That's her 4th dinger of the season. Carthage's first hit puts a run on the board. But from there, Manja put Carthage on lock. In the 5th, she gets Vicky Pean to play into her hands. Precht follows with more of the same for the 2nd out of the inning. The freshman retired 10 straight Lady Reds after the Mikolash homer. Cardinals hoping to reward Manja's effort. Whitfield goes the other way for her 2nd hit of the day. Then Ravelinski decides to join the multi-hit club as well. She drops one in the gap to score Whitfield. Cardinals need 3 outs for the automatic bid. With 2 outs now, Stephanie Schaefer puts one right back up the middle. Manja cleans it up no problem, and the Cardinals are CCIW tournament champions, dispatching Carthage 4-1. Manja scattered 3 hits over 7 innings. Her ERA a minuscule 1.05 in 20 innings pitched in the tournament. Coach, how far has Vlasta come this year? We look as a freshman, she's obviously made a big impact, 12-5, 2.17 ERA.
She's really improved. I think that's one of the keys is if you look at her from the beginning of the season to now, the progress that she's made along the way, and her control has improved, her fielding has improved. She's got a command of more than one pitch, which I think is really important. So the progress that she's made has been steady and very much what we needed.
And not only in the circle, we've seen her do some really good things at the plate as well. She's taken home Conference Player of the Week a couple times for her hitting, and I imagine having a dual threat like that has to be a huge asset.
You know, what's funny is oftentimes when a player is playing well in the field, or in this case pitching, it kind of has an effect on the hitting as well, and it really has, I think, relaxed her. And she's hitting the ball again as well as she was early on in the season in Arizona.
And she takes CCIW first team along with two others, Colleen Drennan, another Cardinal freshman making the first team. A young player that comes in has really done well throughout conference, hitting 300 and above really for most of the season. As a freshman with that position, it seems to be so important. How big is it to have somebody that's come in right away and played such a key role?
Colleen deserves an awful lot of credit because it's not just the catching factor, which is so crucial, not only in terms of receiving the pitches, but being able to call the game and work with the different pitchers that you have. And then she's also took on a difficult role of learning how to slap hit and has been pretty effective with it the majority of the season. So her combination on offense and defense have really been crucial to the team's success.
Is that something she had to learn to be able to fit in the two-hole in the lineup?
She did. She has. She was hitting lower in the lineup earlier in the year, and because she was making such progress, we thought we needed to make a change. Her and Erin both have such great speed that we thought we needed to try to utilize that a little bit more. And so far, it's working out fairly well.
And Lauren Schramm rounds out the first teamers, 11-14 OPS, 7 homers. She's one of the stablest seniors that really kind of secures the middle of this lineup. You
know, it's really interesting. We didn't make the decision to put her at third base until about 2 days before we left on our spring trip. And privately, I had mentioned to the coaches, I said, this could be the key thing for us in terms of the season as far as it works out. And she's got a tremendous arm at third base. If she bobbles a ball, as long as she can get it back within her grasp, she's going to make the play because she's got a tremendous arm. And her power is also, as she exhibited down in this conference tournament, has been great. And she's hit 10 homers, I believe, in less than 2 full seasons. So she's been a tremendous force.
Definitely, and you guys have 4 upperclassmen landing on the second team for all conference, so depth definitely something you guys don't have any trouble with.
Well, you have to have a number of people, obviously, not only playing well, but filling roles, and we've been able to have that up to this point.
And it's worked out pretty well. Well, the Cardinal seniors have started more than 700 games combined at North Central. That experience combined with 4 conference tournaments, 2 regional appearances, has those players confident going into regional number 3. Hear all about it in part 1 of What's the Word.
Well, that's actually a really big relief, is that not having to get an at-large bid. Going in knowing you earned it to go into the regional, that's a huge relief. And we have a lot of seniors on the team this year, and for them, it's a great way to really continue their last time playing ball. So it's lucky for that.
Oh, it's great. We've been fighting all season, and we're just starting to get really hot towards the end. We need to keep this going and keep the momentum. And it's just great not having to worry about it, knowing that we have another week left, and especially as seniors. I mean, I know we're all really psyched to be able to keep on playing.
I really wanted to do it for the seniors. That was my main goal, is to give them another championship. So we're definitely pumped up, and this is just going to carry us through regionals. So hopefully it can take us all the way.
CCIW is a really solid conference. They're one of the most solid conferences in the area. So knowing that we can compete with these teams, we know that there are a lot of other teams out there who we can compete with as well. So knowing that we can take on these teams, it's a really big confidence booster.
Coach, in the regional, you guys take on Wisconsin Lacrosse, a team that you faced last year in Arizona. So a little bit familiar with this team as you go up against them?
I got to be honest with you. I have to go back and look at last year's statistics because my recall on that game is kind of sketchy. So I'll try to go back and revisit the box score. And I do know they play in a strong conference, and I know they've been very competitive. So we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah, 3 bids going to that Wisconsin conference. What changes this time of year? Coaching style, playing style? It seems like everything seems to get ratcheted up a little bit more.
I think things are intensified a bit. You have to look at the pitchers that are throwing and then see how you're going to approach the game. In some instances, trying to make contact is the crucial thing. Depending upon how well you're matching up, you may be able to play for the beginning. So each game defines its own depending on the personnel.
And, talking to some of the freshmen earlier in the year, coming into a new college softball environment, obviously something different. And when we get to this postseason later in the year, some of the seniors have said, when it gets to this point, we've been playing softball, 15, 16 years of our lives. So it just comes down to just going out and playing, right? Not really worrying about any of the other stuff.
Yeah, I think, the thing that we all forget about oftentimes is it is a game, and you need to have some fun with the game. Mm-hmm. And if you can try to put some of these things on the side and just play the game, it usually will take care of itself for the most part in a pretty good fashion.
In a road trip like this, do you think something like your guys' Arizona trip where you went 8-2, an experience like that where you're away from Naperville for a while will kind of help set up maybe some success here when you're up in La Crosse? Well,
you certainly hope so. You hope that all the experiences, especially that the seniors have had, will come to fruition now and will be a plus for us.
For sure. Well, we'll definitely have to see. More regional talk on deck. Coach K and I will be joined by two Cardinal seniors right after this.